Welcome back. They have certainly been a mainstay of this event, the RAAF Roulettes, the aerobatic team. When they're above us, we know that the Clipsal 500 is good to go. Another mainstay of this event has been Greg Murphy over so many years. Since the very first year back in 1999, now stepped out of full-time driving. Good news for us is he stepped into the commentary box as we go through the Carrera Cup Porsches, alongside our support car king, Aaron Noonan.
Thank you, Matty. Great to be back for 2013. And here is the way that they line up. And we've got a range of familiar names that have joined the Porsche series this year, Murph. And Nick Percat, fresh from V8 Supercars, has put it on pole in his first round in Carrera Cup. Craig Baird, the reigning champ, on the front row. Warren Luff, Stephen Richards on row 2. Shay Davies, Carl Reiner, Stephen Johnson's in there as well. There's a lot of really familiar V8 faces and names having a run this year.
Yeah, listen, I tell you what, this Carrera Cup class has benefited from a few guys moving away from supercars this year, and it's bolstered the ranks. I mean, it is an impressive field up the front. I don't think Beardo's going to have it his own way like he may have had in the last couple of years. History being made too. Renee Gracie, the first female driver to start in Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. Michael Patrizzi will start down the back, crashed in qualifying yesterday. We'll get it started over 12 laps from the streets of Adelaide when we come back here on 7. Back in Adelaide, the first race in the opening round of a new year for the Porsche Carrera Cup. Aaron Noonan and Greg Murphy to call all the action for the All Porsche Championship. And Murph, I know there's been a lot said in the off-season. You'll be with the Holden Racing team for the Enduros later on, but you're here also as part of your ambassadorialship with the ITM 400 in Auckland. Pukekohe back on the calendar. Good news for Aussie and New Zealand motorsport. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's had a lot of history, Pukekohe, and to have it back after those 4 great years at Hamilton is just awesome for supercars. Great for New Zealand, great for race fans that get so much out of the V8 supercars in New Zealand, and hopefully those that will travel from Australia, maybe other parts of the world, to come and be a part of it also. Yeah, banging in the diary, April 12 to 14 for the return to Pukekohe. Tickets on sale from tickettech.co.nz. And we're riding on board with a range of our in-car cameras. We'll be with Craig Baird, we'll be with Tony Bates, we'll also be with Duvashen Padiachi, who is making his debut. He's been racing British Formula 3, Sydney-based driver. This is his first run. So 21 drivers in the field, a range of rookies, but a range of these rookies like Nick Percat, who aren't really rookies. Well, and this is going to be interesting. Obviously, Nick grabbed pole from Craig Baird by the smallest margin, but he's used to getting a V8 supercar off the line. But these Carrera Cup Porsche GT3s are very, very different in doing that. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does launch this car and see who does get to the first corner first. He's got the champ next to him, who is just a pro. Nothing more you can say. He's the Uber Lord of Porsche racing, isn't he? Craig Baird, the 4-time and reigning Carrera Cup champion here in Australia. Percat, this is a nice story. Adelaide boy in an Adelaide team. Team BRM with the Coates Hire Porsche. Row 2 is Warren Luff to the left of screen behind Percat. Then you've got Stephen Richards. It's a good field, mate. It's a very, very good field for 2013. We're set to get it underway. 12 laps on the streets of Adelaide. Can Percat topple the champ? Baird got an amazing launch. I think Percat was a little bit slow to get the clutch out. He has suffered a little bit into turn 1. Stephen Richards follows Beardo in side by side. Over launches. Percat will hang on though through the centre chicane. Richards third. Shay Davies, the young Gold Coaster, driving for Team Kiwi Racing, trying to get down the inside. That's Warren Luff going the long way in that white number 7 Porsche, the Red Bull Racing V8 Enduro pilot. There's Davies. There's Carl Reiner, Wilson Security, backing him in the Porsche this weekend, the rusty French car. Down underneath there, Matt Kingsley, who we saw do a couple of rounds last year, do a really good job. He's taken over the X-Ray Angus car, and he will be a real contender as they blast to turn 8 for the first time. And these cars, corner speed-wise at this turn, just as fast as a V8 supercar. Yeah, a huge amount of aerodynamic downforce coming through these cars. Beto using every single bit of the track. Great grip from those tyres, those Michelin tyres. They are a super fast race car. But Beto, again, he's showing the strength, the knowledge that he's got that car off the line. Percat's having a little bit of defending going on from Stephen Richards, who'll be looking to try and get past, obviously. The rest of them stream through. Stephen Johnson there, he's in that blue and red car, the Nathan Tinkler owned machine, and now Stephen Richards putting the pressure on Nick Percat. Final turn of
the opening lap of the championship, the 7th time that the Porsche Carrera Cup has been on the streets of Adelaide. It's the 10th anniversary season. It all kicked off in 2003. Seems like yesterday, but it's Craig Baird who's got a margin. 1 second at the end of lap number 1.
And we've seen quite a number of evolutions of the car. Stephen Grove having a loop at the last corner. Gets going again. But we've seen some evolutions of this car. Obviously, the Carrera Cup car has changed, the GT3 car, and we'll just watch the replay here. Beardo just launched away. Got that initial jump, which was just enough to give him that space and that little gap. Look at it, perfectly executed. Stephen Richards looking to get in behind him. They gave each other room, though. Nick Percat used a lot of road on the at turn 1, turn 2, used a lot of the curb, was forced a bit wide. Not a lot of grip out there, as you can see. Look at the understeer coming from Stephen Richards' car there, but they did give each other plenty of room launching.
That's not the way to treat your new Porsche, Nicholas. Straight through the chicane and over the curb. But now that he's got going, his sector speed is comparative with Craig Baird up in front, but he has got that margin that he got off the start. Michael Petrizzi there working his way through the field, and that was how Stephen Grove ended up facing in the wrong direction. He's one of the elite class drivers. So we have 2 classes, professional at the front, Baird, Richards, Percat and the like, and elite class, who are generally gentleman racers, but that is not how you should do gentlemanly driving in Adelaide. Mark Seni's involved, Hallmark Porsche, and I think Patiacci was involved in that as well, escaping the scene.
Yeah, there's a lot of
that's not going anywhere.
Into the fence again, actually, that's where it's going.
When the left front's hanging off it, it won't steer too well.
That's down at the hairpin, turn 11, so obviously quite an impact there to take the front suspension. Left front completely out of the car, there it is, sitting there. Not good. I expect we'll see a safety car potentially pretty soon.
It's the run back into the Victoria Park section of the circuit. And now we go, safety car, full course yellow, out of control. Mark Seni, innocent bystander, and got escorted hard into the fence.
A very late manoeuvre up the inside there, I believe, that came off the curb, saw that he was going to probably make contact with Seni. Here we go, in car again. Trying to get down, cannot stop it. Used the curb, which then fired it straight into Mark. And a lot of damage.
And that will be, Murph, the first course of action for the new driving standards advisor for Carrera Cup, Peter Fitzgerald, the Porsche veteran, taking over from new race director now, Cam McConville, in that role. So we're under safety car here on the streets of Adelaide for the first time in Porsche Carrera Cup. Craig Baird, the reigning champ, leads the way. Percat second and Richards third. Under safety car on the streets of Adelaide. It's the first race in the first round of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. Craig Baird leads the way, the reigning champ. We are cruising around at the moment. After this, Dubashan Patiacci belts into Mark Seni, out of control at turn 9, and sends the Hallmark car hard into the fence. And then, Greg Murphy, there was a little bit of a problem with the left front of this car. It didn't exist.
Well, it didn't want to be there. There's the left front wheel that just dragged him straight back into the fence. So not a great start to Patiacci's Carrera Cup initiation at all, and they brought out the safety car, so currently waiting for that to be cleaned up, which shouldn't take too much longer. Then we see the track crew trying their best to get that GT3 Porsche onto the back of the truck.
They're hard to haul when they've only got three wheels on them, but 22-year-old from Sydney who's been racing open wheelers overseas, was in British Formula 3 last year and previously in Formula BMW Pacific Championship. So running for Team BRM, which is the team that Nick Percat is lined up. There's Stephen Johnson, 17 on the side of a Porsche.
Yep.
It doesn't happen very often, but he's not totally new to Porsches because he's driven for the Honda team at the 12 hour in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he has. He's very at home, I think, sitting in the seat of one of those on the other side of the car as well. And, you know, disappointing, obviously, to not see Steve out there in the 17 DJR Falcon, but he's keeping his hand in by getting amongst with the other boys in this one. Carl Reindler in there this year as well. Good to see him in there, and mixing it with the other guys, Craig Baird and Nick Percat, who are at the front of the stage, with Stephen Richards also. And
of course, Johnson and Johnny Reid have actually swapped rides because Johnny Reid drove this car last year to finish runner-up in the championship. This is a replay from the start through the chicane, and Nick Percat had all 4 Michelins off the deck as he was desperately trying to get a run out of there and hold off Stephen Richards to turn 3, which he managed to be able to do. He sits in second, so he gets another crack at Craig Baird now, who had built a second margin from getting that advantage advantage off the start. Now he gets another go at him.
Yeah, you know, he obviously had to just gather up. You know, his thoughts again after the start, missed the start. He would have been focused on obviously trying to get into turn 1 ahead of Craig. Didn't quite get the launch that he needed. And now he gets the opportunity to be right on the bumper of the Jet Travel Insurance car. But as we have seen 1,000 times before, Craig Beard's not the easiest bloke to get past.
No, and he's done a fair bit of winning in this championship over the years. He holds a record for most race wins. He's up to 48, so he could very well this weekend be first to 50, because there are 3 races in this opening round, and we will bring you all 3 in our coverage over the course of the weekend. So quite possible that he could create some history as we go for another lap around this Clipsal Street circuit behind the safety car. And I guess just looking at it, Murph, the field in Carrera Cup, this time last year we had 15 cars. We've got 21. Yep. The qualities, we've traded a few guys. Johnny Reed, Daniel Gaunt, Andre Heimgartner, off doing other things this year. But we've injected Nick Percat, Warren Luff, Carl Reinler, Stephen Johnson. There's some good familiar names that our V8 followers will certainly know.
Well, it just proves, obviously, what a key category the Carrera Cup class is, as a support category, but also just as a class that does build talent and keeps that talent we already know that's good, keeps them fresh. And you know, these cars are hard to drive. You know, there's a lot of competition out there, and you know, you've got to be on your game to get it right.
He's a guy who knows all about being on his game, but he's got a big task today. It's his first V8 supercar race. Casey Stone, and we will bring it to you live here from Adelaide. Race 1 of 2 for the weekend for the Dunlop Series in the Red Bull Commodore. He's got the race driver car lingo.
He's doing the hand thing. He's not doing the handlebar thing. He's doing the steering wheel thing. That's a good start, I reckon.
He has certainly created massive interest in the Dunlop Series this weekend. They've got their biggest ever field in 6 years here, which is great with so many cars coming from the main series from last year. So
I think it's awesome seeing him in there, and you know, he's jumped in. He's in a, you know, obviously a class act that's going to give him everything he needs to do to be able to do his job properly. And it's just awesome for Australian motorsport to see a world champion of such a great pedigree on 2 wheels, taking his hand and having a look at what he can do on 4 wheels. Fantastic.
And he certainly puts spotlight on the Dunlop Series. And I know there's a lot of teams and drivers there who are saying, actually, this is really good. Sure, he's getting a lot of the attention, but it's putting attention on us as a category and as a series. So that's great news. We're under safety car here if you just joined us in Adelaide, the Porsche Carrera Cup. Craig Baird is the leader. Nick Percat second from Stephen Richards. Warren Luff in that white number 7 car driving for Andy McElroy's team. He's got a quarter of the field here, Andy McElroy. He's got 5 cars entered to run. He's got a range of different drivers, both professional and elite. There's James Konduris. The 47 car is the leader of the elite class. He's 9th overall. And Nick Percat is pretty keen to get on with this because...
Well, here goes Beardo. He's put his foot down. The safety car's pulled off. Or not quite. Nearly. He's just made pit lane. That's going to be a pretty close call there.
Now, normally isn't the call to go essentially when it's said that the safety car's in pit lane, because that's a little bit different to what we've seen in the past.
Well, I think the rule is that you need to make sure that the safety car's not on the track when you pass it still. So that was pretty close for Craig Beard. He's dialed in the throttle pretty early as they fire through turn 1, turn 2. Amazing part of the Clipsal Street circuit. He's got a little bit of a jump over Nick Percat, maybe caught him by just the smallest of surprises as they file down into turn 4.
Stephen Johnson there in that Hunter Sports Group Porsche, the red and blue car, just chasing Matt Kingsley in the Action Tyres Porsche. There's the elite fight. James Konduris, Max Twigg, the reigning elite champion. Tony Bates is going with him, but so far from what we've seen in the relatively short green flag running, the top 3 are the ones who've got the pace on the cold tyre.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Obviously, Beardo, we know he knows everything there is to know about these cars, the tyres, the way they handle, everything there is. He's got it down pat. Nick Percat, obviously an immense amount of talent. Hasn't done much time in these Carrera Cup cars, but he's on it. Tony Bates, good run there through turn 8. He's looking down the inside. Last thing we need is another one or a repeat of what we saw before. He pulls out of it.
Finished 3rd in the elite class last year. Actually did upgrade and buy a V8 supercar, the Monster Commodore from 888, but I think we might see that a little bit later in the year. He's going to stick around and do more Porsche Carrera Cup racing, and it's just as competitive in this elite fight within the fight as it is with the pros up the front, so everyone's got something to race for.
No, they do, and he's battling there with Max Twigg, who's got a huge amount of experience these days in these cars. And pedals one of these cars very, very well. Not far off the pace of those the professional guys at all.
Baird the leader. Percat, second spot, has done a test day at Winton before coming here. Richards next. Here's Warren Luff. Shay Davies actually is doing a really good job. Team Kiwi car is taking this over from Andre Heimgartner, and in 2 rounds last year, coming from Formula Ford, and has adapted really well.
Reiner has a look.
I was about to pause that sentence for a second.
He has a look down inside. Stephen Johnson just sitting back there, trying to line these guys up as they fight. He'll be looking for a way through, get a good run through turn 8. Obviously, massive passing opportunity down into turn 9. Just a super part of the track here.
And look at Johnson having a little bit of a poke and a look and just seeing what he can do to Matt Kingsley in that Action Tyres car. And Matt has come up through the Porsche staircase, former GT3 Cup champion. This is, of course, the Carrera Cup, which is the step up. And he's mixing it with the big guns. We saw him do it in a couple of races last year. You're just hearing that this race might be cut a few laps short because of that long safety car period. But Baird just starting to stretch away. 9/10 at the line this time around.
And Kingsley's doing a really good job here. He's got a lot of pressure from Stephen Johnson behind to put pressure on Carl Reiner, who in turn is trying to get past Shay Davies. So a great race going on here for the lesser places.
Love watching these cars jump across the curbs because they're so stiff, and they're used to flat track racing in Europe and the like, but street tracks are something that they're going to have to do this year at Townsville and the Gold Coast. They really have to be able to deal with just about every track condition that you can throw at them.
Well, because of that safety car, unfortunately, we're going to be cut short on this battle because I think Nick Percat was just warming up again to put that attack to Craig Baird. Unfortunately, we're on the last lap of this battle. Craig Baird out front, controlling it well. Percat lights ablaze, but I think he's going to run out of time.
Oof. But now he knows what to do on the start. Now he knows some of the characteristics of race conditions with this Michelin control tyre and this 450 horsepower Porsche GT3 Cup car. There's Tony Bates, who we rode on board with before. Craig Baird busy this weekend doing double duty. He's also driving the Erebus team's Mercedes-Benz SLS in the Australian GT Championship. But he's on his way to number 49. He's getting closer to 50.
Absolutely incredible statistics. Nick Percat, he'll be a bit disappointed with that start. That's where he obviously lost this race. And the first race goes to Craig Baird.
Baird picks up race 1, round 1 on the streets of Adelaide. Percat, the pole man, comes home in second. Stephen Richards set the fastest lap on the last lap, a 1:23.47. Warren Luff, P4. Solid start for he and McElrea Racing. Shay Davies, 5th. For Team Kiwi, and Carl Reiner, good job in 6th on debut.
Absolutely. He's held out from Matt Kingsley and Stephen Johnson.
James Konduris takes the win in elite. Max Twigg is 2nd in class and rounds out the top 10. Great way to start a massive 3 days on the streets of Adelaide. The Utes, the Dunlop Series, qualifying in the shootout for the supercars, still to come.
After the break, we're getting ready for the opening 20-minute qualifying session of the year.
I think the qualifying session on Friday at Clipsal is going to be massive. I think it's going to be the world's fastest outlap. Everyone's going to be on it straight away. It's not really going to be a lot of time for emotions and enjoying the moment. It's just a matter of bang, who's P1 straight away.
Our team of experts will do a full tour of pit lane to see who's who in 2013. Then it's time for the one-lap dash live on the streets of Adelaide. Who will reign supreme in the top 10 shootout and claim pole position for race 1? And to finish the day, MotoGP World Champion Casey Stoner makes his much-anticipated debut in the Dunlop Development Series. It's all coming up live and free right here on 7.